Hey everyone, Ahsan Raza here from Century 21 Innovative Realty and Ahsan Raza Real Estate. As you guys know, I started my podcast 2.5 years ago and we are almost at 70 episodes now. If you get a chance and if you like this information and content, please subscribe to the channel. Please share and like all the videos you've seen so far. And if you are a home buyer and a home seller looking to get more information and you've liked what you've seen in these podcasts and you want to set up a meeting to discuss your future plans, give me a shout, reach out to me at 647-995-7292 or DM me on Instagram or Facebook and let's get your next move started. Thank you very much. Hey everyone, Ahsan Raza here from the Ahsan Raza podcast. It's 2026. Happy New Year to you and your families. I hope you guys all had a wonderful winter vacation or winter break. I know I surely did. I didn't go anywhere, but I was on my couch, binge watched a lot of TV and spent some time with the kids and the wife. Those are the best vacations in my opinion. Sometimes just a chance for you to reset and recharge. I hope you guys had a great time as well. Now that we're back to the grind, back to providing you guys with market updates for the rest of the year. And annually, I like to provide you guys with a prediction. So this year will be no different. It's the first episode of the year. And in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a few market predictions for 2026, what I think is going to happen. And mind you, these are not going to be accurate all the time. These are simply my opinions. So maybe at the end of the year, we'll watch this episode back and do a reflection and see which ones we got right and which ones we got wrong. So for the first prediction, let's talk about the sales activity for 2026. What's going to happen in 2026 with the market and in sales specifically? So if you look at the last 2 years, we have had a struggling sales market in the real estate market in GTA. I think back in 2024 and 2025, we were hovering in that mid 65,000 to 67,000 annual sales. I think this year in 2026, we're probably going to be landing around the same number of sales activities. So somewhere between 65,000 to 75,000. This year, I do think that there are going to be some more first-time home buyers that will come on the market that will be looking to buy a home. And I think that's what's going to lead to that modest increase. Again, not a big increase, but maybe 2 to 2.5% possibly. And that's about it. Now, things can change month over month. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world. And that's where I'm going to come in to give you guys real-time updates throughout the year. The next big thing that we're all wondering is what's going to happen to the average price in the GTA when it comes to condos and freehold homes. And I'm here to let you know and burst the bubble to inform you that unfortunately, I think we're probably going to have a price decline this year as well. And there's a couple of factors for that. And number one is there's going to be inventory on the market. There's inventory that will be carried over from last year where people did not sell their homes. A lot of new home buyers, new investors have their closings coming up this year as well. So I do think we're going to have more inventory in the market and it will take time to have that inventory absorbed. In the process of that, even if sales increases during this time, it will take time for that inventory to be eaten up. And because you have a lot of homes on the market, it's going to create downward pressure on prices. Now, if you break it down from the condo segment to the freehold segment, I think the majority of the reason why average price will decline is going to be because of the condo market. As you guys are all aware, the condo market is going through a very, very tough time. It's going through the ringer. And the condo market prices will bring down the total average price in the GTA. So to be fair, if you have a condo or are looking to sell your condo, I think you're going to have a very tough time. But again, there are ways to circumvent that. But I think if you're in a freehold situation, it won't be as bad as a condo. So just remember that when we say average price, we're considering all home segments in one single number. The next prediction and something that we spoke a lot about last year and the year before was interest rates. What's going to happen with the Bank of Canada and are they going to cut interest rates even more? So here's my opinion on that. From based on what I'm reading and researching and reviewing, it looks like there's not going to be any more rate cuts from the Bank of Canada this year in 2026. We're in that neutral zone of 2.25, which if you remember, we were there a couple of years ago before the rates went up. And if you are expecting a rate cut, I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I think those expectations should be tempered a little bit, only because we've seen a lot of rate cuts already happen last year. At this point, it's going to be possible that rates may go up or go down by a quarter point up or a quarter point down. If rates do come down, it's probably going to be because of some other catastrophic reason. Maybe our economy is not doing well, or the unemployment is high. And that is really not a good situation anyways, because then we have more bigger problems to worry about as well. Now, what about the actual rates and what the banks are offering when it comes to fixed rates and variable rates? I'm not a mortgage broker, but I can kind of give you a very high level idea as to where rates are falling right now. And they're falling in between that 3.5% to 4.5% range, whether it's a fixed or variable. I do think a lot of people are going to come back to the variable rate mortgage because it is quite favorable at this point. And I know a lot of people out there are thinking that a 3.5% or 3.75 or even 4% variable rate or fixed rate is high. And it does look high because we were all spoiled with the 1%, 2% rates in the COVID times. But if you remember, before that, the rates were always hovering around 3 to 3.5%. So we're actually not that far off from what they were before. It's just the fact that average home prices have gone up, so mortgage payments obviously will be higher. But when it comes to interest rates and what the banks are offering, we are pretty much in line. But if you want more information about where rates are going to go this year, I would advise you to speak to a mortgage broker. I have got a great contact for that. If you have any questions, I can definitely connect you with them. The next prediction is about the rental market. The rental market, just to give you guys a quick recap, in 2025 did struggle and it did soften. There were a lot of homes that came on the market for rent, and I think that's what caused some downward pressure on rental prices. So if you remember a few years ago, if you were looking at homes with me when it came to a rental or were looking on your own, it was very difficult to find a rental property, and rental properties had multiple offers on them as well. Now you don't see that at all. So it's a lot easier to get into the rental market. I'm finding a lot more success with my clients, and landlords are being much more flexible on the pricing. I've seen prices come down 10 to 20% across the board in different pockets of the GTA. And so if you are looking for a rental property this year, you can definitely hit me up, and you can be rest assured that it will be a lot easier to find a rental and we will see better pricing. So I think the rental prices will go down even further. And I say that because we're going to see more inventory coming on the market. Like I said earlier in the video, a lot of investors have closings coming up. In fact, the condo market, we're expecting over 30,000 new closings to come on the market. And a lot of those closings, a lot of those owners are investors, and they're going to be putting those up for rent. So you can imagine the amount of inventory we're going to have. Also, the other factor is that Canada has tightened up its immigration policy. So we're not seeing people come in as much. So the population has actually been strained a little bit. A lot of the people that were in the rental market were immigrants or working professionals that came from abroad on their work permit. And so when you take a lot of those people out, you are left with the limited demand when it comes to renters, which will mean that landlords will have to either reduce their prices in rent or find more creative solutions to rent out their property. So there you go. Those are the few predictions I had for 2026. Now, overall, you might be asking, well, which way is the market heading? Which direction are we going in? That's a great question. To sum it all up, what I'm going to tell you is that 2026 will likely mimic 2025, with sales being increasing modestly, again, 2 to 2.5%. And I think the spring market might see a little bit of an uptick, but I hear a lot of people, a lot of sellers, clients, telling me that we're going to wait till the spring to put our houses on the market because we're expecting things to pick up dramatically. And I'm here to tell you that unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. And I think this is going to be a slow recovery market where we're going to see tiny bits of growth here and there. But you got to be prepared as a buyer and a seller to understand that we are still recovering from the market. Things are not going to be like they were in 2021 or 2022, and they'll never be like that ever again, at least for the foreseeable future. So you have to temper your expectations. Don't cling on to false hope. But what I can tell you is that if you are a buyer in this market, you have to be prepared, and there are some golden opportunities that will be available this year. So again, in this market, it's not about the one who's the loudest is the one who's the most prepared, who is going to win, whether you're a buyer or a seller.